Hi, welcome back everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. In this particular video today, we're going to take a look at shaping the golf ball in this longer bracket of your golf bag. So I've got a 3 hybrid against a traditional 3 iron. So I'm going to see, maybe for you guys out there who might want to shape the golf ball, or you feel like you like to sort of shape the ball and you have the confidence to do that, would you get more chance of creating the shape that you want to do through an iron, or is it a little bit easier to do with the iron, or vice versa? So there's obviously going to be some trade-offs, because we know the hybrid is more forgiving than an iron and a little bit easier to sort of launch. But what about shaping it right to left, left to right? That's what we're going to test in this particular video. I've got GC Quad running down here as always, so we're going to get some sort of numbers and see how it is for me in terms of shaping. Do I find it easier with one or the other? Okay, so I'm going to start off with the hybrid. I've got a Ping G410 number 3 hybrid, which is 19 degrees. I've got this set on a slight flat lie, which helps me on my ball flight, so that's more of a neutral setting for me, so I'm going to keep it on that. And I think what we're going to do here, we're going to hit sort of 3 attempts at a fade, 3 attempts at a draw, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with my Wilson Staff bladed 3 iron, which is a little bit of a tough cookie to sort of hit, but I'm going to do that with that 3 iron there. Again, 3 fades and 3 draws, and see how easy it is or not to do. Now obviously for me personally, I feel like I've got more of that right to left shape in my bag, especially with an iron. The left to right sometimes feels a little bit tougher for me, and that might be different for you guys out there. You'll have a shape that you would feel more comfortable possibly hitting, and maybe doing the opposite shape is a little bit tougher, and you might not have the confidence to do that on the golf course, to stand there, commit to it and actually play that particular shot. But I want to see, you know, which is easier to sort of get shaping, and what might sort of influence you of putting a certain club in the bag, whether it's that long iron or that hybrid. So we're going to start off with the fades to begin with. So I'm going to try and hit some cut shots down the range here, and I'll see if, number 1, do I get it going left to right, and number 2, are they quite controllable? So 3 hybrid, let's get underway. So I'm going to try and work this up the left and fade it back. Okay, so that's definitely moved right to left a bit too aggressively on that first one. I cut that a little bit heel, so you see that move much more. So not really controllable there in terms of relation to the target. It went left to right, but not really at target. Okay, that one's gone pretty straight, so I wasn't trying to shape that as much as that last one. And I've caught that fraction toe, and this is maybe the thing with the sort of hybrids against irons. You start to see that little bit of that roll and bulge, so gear effect kicks in a little bit more. So I caught that toe. We know toe strikes will try and move it or keep it from going to the right in terms of side spin, and vice versa. The heel strike will try and peel it to the right. So 2 very different shots there. I've hit a hefty left to right one with that first one. The second one I've actually turned over a little bit right to left, and that's the shot I feel like I would want to, or it feels like it's going to do when I put a hybrid in my hands. It does feel like it's going left, so for me to aim up the left and try and cut it with a hybrid is a little bit tougher. So again, I feel like I'm working it across, but that's staying up that left side. So that's been tough. Okay, so let's move into trying to hit some right to left shapes with a hybrid. So this, for me, would feel a bit easier to sort of do, hit that right to left, because I tend to be a little bit more on that inside. Obviously my bad one tends to turn over a little bit more to the left, so it should be a little bit easier. And again, with a hybrid, it tends to work it more in that direction for me. But again, can I control that right to left if I get it? Okay, so that's a very easily hit draw shot there, which wasn't too bad in relation to that target. So that's pretty good. That's a better strike, better shape. Little soft draw, again, very nicely in relation to that target. Is it a line ball? Nearly. So yep, take that all day long. Hit it up that right and brought it back. Oh, that's a bad strike. That's a fraction heavy and a fraction toey, and that's dipping more. overturning. So not quite as good on that last one there, but it has moved right to left. So a little bit, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit into more my strength in moving it right to left. So two very good ones there. One just a bit of a poorer strike on that last particular one. Okay, so let's switch over into the 3-iron. Same process, 3 fades, 3 draws. Let's see if I get a little bit more control, accuracy, and pull those particular shots off. Okay, so my Wilson Staff model bladed 3-iron in my hands. Wish me luck on this one, guys. So obviously a very small, compact head. We don't get the forgiveness levels now have been dropped. So this is one thing that you're going to have to probably just weigh up yourselves is a bladed iron, or even it might be obviously be a cavity back iron, or maybe more of the sort of utility irons which are hollow, which obviously provide a lot more forgiveness. So that's probably the first thing you've got to think about. You know, can I afford to have that less forgiveness than the hybrid? Okay, and if you feel like you can, then that takes you then into this probably the process of what we're doing here in terms of trying it. So 3-iron, I'm going to hit the fades first, try and work this from that left. Let's see if we can get a little bit more control, hit the shots that we're trying to hit. Okay, it wasn't perfect strike, that's flown very straight. Cut a tiny bit heavy, a little bit into that mat there, so probably just lost a bit of distance there, but it didn't fade, but it was very neutral. That's a better shot. That was nice. Smidge of fade. I'm going to call it anyway. It looked to fade a little bit. There's no wind out there today, and it looked to move a fraction that. But again, there's nothing in it, so it's very neutral. As I said to you, I struggle to maybe move it a little bit more left to right, so it's a tougher one for me to hit. That's nice. That was lovely. I got a little fade on that, and pretty reasonable in relation to target. Okay, so we can clearly see there the iron won that fade bracket, didn't it? The fact that not every single one was a fade, but when I missed it, it was pretty close to that target line, wasn't it? It actually flew out really straight. So you see the hybrid, the first fade one, I cut a bit heel, off it went. Next one, I drew left. So then you got to look at the dispersion there. Is pretty wide from that left to the right, isn't it? So iron definitely won that particular contest. So let's move into those draw shapes now and see how the iron stacks up with that. I would feel now this is a harder shot for me. Hybrid would be more easier to work right to left because of the nature of the head, the roll and bulge. Iron may be a little bit tougher, but we'll soon see. Okay, not a bad strike there. Just up that right, hasn't quite come back, so not quite turn that over. Start direction was good, but not quite getting my path enough to the right to get the right to left shape on it. A little bit more of a push there. Again, very identical shot, super strike, super flight. It's just literally followed that same direction. So again, you can see, as I called it, this is a little bit of a tougher shot for me to play. Harder for me to sort of execute that. That's identical again. Well, it's consistent, isn't it? Could throw a handkerchief over those three, but just not quite where I wanted them to be. So, as again, it's a little bit tougher for me to play that particular shot. So interesting to see there, you know, I think with the right to left shape of that, again, it's different levels of what you've got to do. I felt like the hybrid was easier to turn right to left. It was tougher with the iron. The fade shot I felt was going to be a little bit easier with the iron and tougher to do with the hybrid, and that was the case. Okay, I didn't hit a perfect fade with everyone with the iron, but my miss was so much better. And again, my miss really with the iron there, as I'm trying to turn it over, was better because it was all in the same position. What you noticed with the hybrid was I hit one or a couple nice right to lefters, which was great, but then the other one snapped a little bit more, didn't it? And then with the fade with the hybrid, I got one really overcooking, and then I drew some. So it was a bit more inconsistent, wasn't it? So, okay, I didn't hit the shots I wanted to hit. It's tougher to do that, and you know, bear in mind these are long irons as well, or long clubs in the bag. Is a little bit harder to maybe get that consistency, that shaping. Obviously, that's through a technique and knowing your path and your face relationship to play those shots. But for me, the iron was much more consistent on the misses, on the bad shots, and that's what you've got to look into it. How bad are the bad ones? The consistency, the dispersion, and also your emotions of how you feel like you can shape that golf ball. And to me, the iron feels that I can definitely move more left to right, which I'm trying to sort of feel like I can do that to reduce my overdraw to the left. So that's where the iron sort of just sits a little bit more in my sort of comfort area in a way to help me try and achieve that particular shape. Again, what you guys want to do with that golf ball in shape wise and how one club might influence a better shape for you possibly, again, that can just sort of help with that buying process when you come into this long party game. Loads of different options to look at: utility irons, traditional irons, hybrids. There's loads of options, isn't there? Okay, post comments down below, let me know your thoughts on that particular video. Do you shape the ball? And if so, can you shape it both ways? It's a very good skill set to have. And if you can, is it controllable? Is one that's easier than the other shape to play? And do you get more success out of it, maybe an iron or a hybrid or vice versa? I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, comment down below. If you haven't subscribed, enjoy the content I'm putting out there, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. Ring the bell for future notifications. As soon as a video lands on my channel, you'll be the very first ones to watch it. Follow them on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter, and the handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.